Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. Before the video starts, I need you to do two things to help this channel grow. One is subscribe down below, and the second is like this video and share it with anybody that you want to spread MMA news to, whether it's family, friends, anybody. I always appreciate your support. And now let's get to the video. Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Russo, and this is the KO Podcast, episode number 48. In this episode, I will be reviewing UFC Fight Night Rosenstrike vs. Gaziv. Also, this weekend, we have UFC 299. That is a stacked event. A lot to talk about there. And this weekend, we also have Anthony Joshua taking on Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia. Ring that bell. Alright, let's get started with last week's card. Kicking it off, we had a lightweight bout. We had Loki Radziabov getting the TKO finish. And then we move on to a lightweight bout. We have Ludovic Klein getting the TKO finish. And we had a middleweight bout. We had Christian Leroy Duncan also getting the finish. So the first three fights of the night ended in finishes. So this card got off to a hot start. And then we move on to a bantamweight bout. We had Ayman Zahabi defeating the undefeated Jahavid Basharat. What a victory for Zahabi. A decision victory as he takes down an undefeated fighter. Moving on, we had a bantamweight bout. We had Vitakis Oliveira taking on Bernardo Sapaj. I believe that's how you say his name. And Vitakis Oliveira gets a spectacular flying knee KO. One of just the most brutal KOs I've seen in a minute. If you haven't seen this knockout, please go check it out and do yourself a favor. Such an incredible knockout victory. And of course, the prelim main event was a middleweight bout. Was Eric Anders taking on Jamie Pickett, and Eric Anders gets the victory. Jamie Pickett does retire from the sport of MMA after this bout, so congratulations on a successful career. Now let's get to the main card. Right off the bat on this main card, we had a flyweight bet. We had Steve Erceg getting the walk-off KO over Matthew Christopher Schnell. Steve Erceg, what a impressive performance by him. Really showed off the power that he has at this flyweight level. Up next, we had a bantamweight bout. We had the undefeated Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Begzat Alamakan. I believe that's how you say his name. And very early on in the first round, Alamakan caught Nurmagomedov on his temple and rocked him and hurt him in the first round, like I said. But Nurmagomedov's wrestling was able to get him back in the fight, and Umar Nurmagomedov dominated the rest of the way after an early scare. But yeah, I mean, Umar Nurmagomedov, this bantamweight division, he is coming for that belt sooner rather than later. Moving on, we had a flyweight belt. We had Alex Perez taking on Muhammad Mokaev, and Muhammad Mokaev gets the decision victory. He stays undefeated at 12-0. Alex Perez finally makes it into the cage to be able to compete in a UFC bout. He's had so many problems making it to fight day and making it to getting in the cage and competing, but in this fight he was able to do that. Moving on, we had the co-main event, a light heavyweight bout. We had Victor Petrino taking on Tyson Pedro, and Victor Petrino gets the decision victory over Tyson Pedro, and Tyson Pedro does retire after this fight. So again, congratulations to him on making it to the UFC. What he has done in his career is not easy to do. So again, Tyson Pedro, congratulations on your career. Now, moving on to the main event, we had a heavyweight bout. We had Jairzinho Rozenstruik taking on Samil Gaziv. And this one ended in kind of a weird fashion. Rozenstruik, in my opinion, had this fight in control with his jab, and Gaziev just did not come out for the 5th round. He said that he couldn't see out of his eyes, so the fight was stopped while Gaziev was in his corner. He could not continue to fight, so Rozenstruik gets the victory. Now, if the 5th round did happen, it would have been interesting if it went the full distance, because looking at the scorecards that were submitted after the stoppage, Derek clearly had this fight tied at 38-38, while Sal DeMaio had it 39-37 for Rozenstruik, and Chris Lee had it 40-36 for Rozenstruik. So, hey, Gaziev could have won the fight on one of the judges' scorecards. I don't think that was the correct assessment, but it would have been interesting if it went to the cards. Now let's get to this weekend's action. UFC 299 takes place in Miami, Florida. It should be a big party at this event, and we got a lot of names on these prelims. Let's get to them. So early on in the prelim portion, there is a heavyweight that is debuting named Robelis de Spain. This guy is 6'7". He is 4-0. He's taking on Josh Parisian. So de Spain, keep an eye on him. And we also got Michel Pereira on this prelim portion. We got a bantamweight matchup. We got Pedro Munoz taking on Kyler Phillips. This is going to be a fun matchup. And we got a lightweight bout. We got Matias Gamera taking on the former UFC lightweight champion Rafael Dos Anjos. That should be an intriguing matchup. We have a women's flyweight bout. We got Caitlin Korchikian taking on Macy Barber. And topping off the prelim portion of this card, we have a heavyweight bout. We got Curtis Blades taking on Jolton Almeida. This is going to be a fun heavyweight matchup. Hopefully we can see Blades wrestling against Almeida's jiu-jitsu. And now let's get to this main card. Opening up the main card, we have the former bantamweight champion Peter Yan. He takes on Sung Yadong. Sung Yadong has been a prospect in this bantamweight division. He's been working his way up, and a win over Yan would put him right in title contention. Next up, we got a welterweight bout. We have Gilbert Burns taking on Jack Della Milana. Della Milana has incredible boxing skills, and I'm excited to see what Gilbert Burns can do in this matchup. Is he going to strike with Della Milana, or is he going to take him to the ground? Up next, we have another welterweight bout. We got Kevin Holland taking on the debuting Michael Venom Page. If you have not seen Michael Venom Page fight, he fought most of his career in Bellator MMA, so go look up some clips. He is the most unique mixed martial artist in the game today. Now we get to the co-main event. We have a lightweight, but we get Dustin the Diamond Poirier. He's taking on Benoit Saint Denis. Saint Denis has been on a roll since his one loss, and I believe that was in his UFC debut. Obviously, we know Dustin Poirier, and credit to him for fighting down in the rankings, because some of the top guys do not like to fight down in the rankings, and that is why some of these prospects take time to get up in these rankings, because they don't get the opportunities. But credit to Dustin Poirier, he's given Saint Denis an opportunity at one of the top ranks in this lightweight division. And now we get to the main event of this card. It is for the Bantamweight World Championship. We have the champion Sean O'Malley defending his belt against Marlon Chito Vera. Now, we all know that this is the second time that these two gentlemen have fought each other. The first time, Marlon Vera came out on top with a TKO victory. Vera, demobilized O'Malley by kicking him in his calf. And after that, the fight just slipped away from O'Malley. He just could not really put any pressure on that leg. The fight ends up going to the ground with Vera on top. Vera lands some vicious elbows, and Herb Dean waved off the fight. O'Malley didn't seem like he took really too much damage from those elbows, but there was just no way that he was going to get up in that fight. O'Malley, has the mindset that he's still undefeated, but obviously he is not. So, will that mindset play into this fight? Because it seems like he has been fighting like he is unbeatable, and obviously as a fighter, that's the way you want to fight. But some fighters, they get psyched out when they get their first career loss, but O'Malley has not, and he's just went on his way like he has not lost that fight. Obviously, Vera knows that he won that fight, and it's going to be a great matchup. These two guys don't really like each other. O'Malley obviously thinks that, Vera kind of got a little lucky with hitting his calf and him not being able to really stand on it, but calf kicks are now a big part of the game in MMA. This is going to be a fun main event. This Friday night, we have a massive boxing matchup. We have Anthony Joshua taking on Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is coming off of his split decision loss to Tyson Fury, which Francis Ngannou in that fight did knock down Tyson Fury. So Ngannou got the respect of the boxing world, so now he's facing another world-class heavyweight boxer. I cannot wait for this fight. Very excited. I really want to see how Francis's boxing game evolves from his first professional fight to his second. Again, in his first professional fight, he faces the all-time greatest heavyweight on the planet, and he knocked him down. So crazy turn of events in that fight for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury didn't really look in shape. It didn't really look like he took Francis Ngannou seriously, but if those two ever meet again, Tyson Fury will take Francis Ngannou very, very seriously. But just happy for Francis about getting his dream to be a professional boxer, and he's making a ton of money doing it. He's in Saudi Arabia on a Friday night pay-per-view. What else is better than that? So tune in and watch that big, huge matchup. And that is going to do it for this episode of the KO Podcast. To stay up to date with the podcast, in all of my social media bios, there is a link tree. Click on that link tree and you will see all of the social media platforms that this podcast is on. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye-bye.